Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. As always, I am your host, Ty Dobberton, along with my co-host, Derek Kwan.
What is up, everyone?
Although, if he keeps running good and gets out of his bad year, we'll get to that. But if he keeps running good, I may need to find a new co-host. So if you're interested, keep tuned. Keep tuned to our social medias. You never know. It is November 7th, 2024. This is episode number 62, and we have got a fun one for you tonight. We are going to basically pretend like Derek is our guest this week a little bit, and it's we've already done our intros, but we'll talk to him about this week. He's had some pretty good runs this week. So as always, though, we will start with the results from around LA. I would, usually this is where we do the intro, but really all we're going to do is results, talk to Derek, and go around with what's coming up. So why don't I just jump right in? This week, let's start with the player of the week, shall we? So Mr. Frank, number one field reporter, has decided this week that our player of the week is the one and only Hambone from
Let's go, Hambone.
Oh, Frank, you got to use a higher res photo next time. I blow this thing up. But we got Hambone with the nice he's a great sport because he, as everyone who knows him knows, he's a huge Yankees fan, and he lost a couple little friendly wagers on the World Series. Since the last time we spoke with you all, the Dodgers have become the champions of the world, and Jeremy got a little bit of ribbing here, but he's a good sport, and for his good sport, he got first in a four-way chop back on the 26th. He got 10th in the Friday night event, then but not even a week later, but then the very next day he got first over at the Big O tournament in Lucky Lady. So once again, something about having the name Jeremy and killing dailies, killing weeklies. Do we call them dailies or weeklies? I call them dailies, but Kevin said weeklies. What do you think, Derek? You call these things dailies or weeklies?
I think weeklies feels like a new term. I only know poker tournaments from dailies.
Yeah. I think so too, but they know what we mean. The king of the dailies around here in LA is gotta be Jeremy Hambone. So congrats. Definitely won't be the last time, and unfortunately, as usual, none of these dailies count for our player of the year. So sorry, Jeremy.
And that is a little bit calling, speaking of calling shots, to call this the year of the Jeremy very early on instead of month of the Jeremy, like he kind of knew. He knew this was going to go all year.
Yeah, I mean, and he's been like, he told us the other day he's cashing almost 60% at the Gardens in these dailies.
That's
It's
crazy.
insane. Insane.
That's crazy.
All right, let's check out some other results from here. Pictures and posts from number one field reporter Frank. So as always, these are all coming from our LA Poker Roundup Instagram. If you're not following, and there's running out of people who aren't, he's hit 600 followers on our Instagram. Fantastic work, Frank. I think it's been like, not even 2 months, and he's taken it from probably like 50 followers to 600. So way to go.
Yeah, Frank. Good
The
job.
first MSPT event over there, which was the Big Poker Open event number 52. There were 72 entries in it, and it ended in a heads-up chop with Alexander Avila. He got the winner and the trophy for little over 8,000. So congratulations to this final table at the first MSPT event at the Bike. In fact, I think it's the first MSPT event in LA. So first place, congratulations, Alex Avila. Second place, Giuseppe Puccio. Third place, Jared Greiner. Fourth place, Arutian Arakalian, and that's a name I've been struggling with for weeks. So I have a feeling he wasn't the player of the week the other week, was he? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Well, in any event, I've been saying his name a lot incorrectly, so I apologize to you, Arutian. Fifth place, Kyung King. Sixth place, Miran Papazian. Seventh place, Shufei Zheng, and 8th place, Sohal Khalili. 9th place, Paul Rojo. So congratulations to that final table.
Wow, what a tough table.
I know, right? So way to go.
Jared
Extra
Rojo.
big win.
Yeah.
Mixed game events were continuing, though. This was not a MSPT event, but the event number 53 was the limit EO8 or better. And that was a 5-way chop with David Doe declared as the winner, taking home almost $3,000. Second place, Ramon Roshin. Third place, Craig Chape. Fourth place, Gina Hecht. Fifth place, Bartolo Hernandez. So congratulations to everyone. That was a 5-way chop.
Nice work.
The XL Bounty, which was event number 54. There's a $200 bounty involved once you're in the money here. There are only 32 entries, but ended in a four-way chop with Zaven Armaganian was the winner. So congratulations, Zaven. Second place in the chop, Paul Wynn. Third place, Eugene Tito. Ghost figure, it's a bounty. Third place, Eugene. Fourth place, Armin Taifekchian. Fifth place, nice. Narek Avetzian. Eugene, another bounty final table every time.
And another tough table,
every freaking time. Now, the big boy event, we'll have to go over to the bike page for the rest of it, but the final three chopped the Mini Mega Millions 6. So the chop went as Corey Brass getting first place for 128,000, Fausto Valdez getting second place for 105,000, and Derek Gregory getting third place for 103,000. So congratulations to these three. Big props to all of you. Fausto is a name we say frequently, and these guys played hard. And Derek finished in 9th in this event. We did not list the entire top table here, so I will look that up while we're doing something else. But
yeah, it's cool to see three guys get over 100K.
Yeah, nice tournament, and we will circle back around to that event pretty soon. Let me finish up the results here from the bike. So event number 56, another mixed game. Heroes, four-way chop with Jack Malee. Jack Malee getting first place in that chop for $4,000. Second place, Henry Casarillo. Third place, Jared Giovanni. Fourth place, Terrence Schaefer. And fifth place was Daniel Gazer. He is a prolific tweeter. We see him on the on Twitter there quite a bit chatting with us, so way to go. And then event number 55, another MSPT event. The second MSP event was run. No, it was him, Arutyan Karyan. He was the player of the week a few weeks ago, and he is now an MSPT champ. He took down this event number 55 is the Mega Stack. So congratulations. In this final table, you'll see some very familiar names. So congratulations, Arutyan is first. Second place, Gracia Minasian. Third place, Derek Kwan. Way to go, buddy. Third place. Fourth place, Nancy Matson. Way to go, Nancy. Fifth place, Michael Schwartz. Sixth place, Cord Garcia. Seventh place, number one field reporter, Frank Lynn. And eighth place, Evan Muschetto. So congratulations to that final table.
Yeah, this is a really actually tough tournament. like on a Wednesday. I mean, it was actually a pretty stacked field. It was pretty nuts. And I feel like the whole final table played really well too.
Yeah. We'll get around to that as well because that's part of your nice run this week. All right. So let's jump back to the Gardens and Kevin providing his results for the week. So from last week, October 31st, Halloween, was the Wednesday bounty. There were 220 entries. It ended in a 9-way chop with Tony Tolentino getting the first place prize of $2,500 plus the bounties he earned. All right. After that, we had Happy Halloween. The final three decided to chop on November 1st. I'm guessing this is the Friday night, or they have a Thursday tournament, so this is probably the Thursday tournament. Sean Nam was the chip leader. He took home a little over 3,300, 122 entries, and a $12,000 prize pool. So way to go, Sean Nam. And then the next event here, the Friday night event. Here, 146 entries, and that ended in an 8-way chop. Congratulations to Kyle Woodard, taking home just under $5,000 in that chop. And the top 8 here are listed. First place, Kyle. Second place, Shari Wilson. Third place, Giovanni Fernandez. Fourth place, Carl Huston. Fifth place, Arvin Cruz. Sixth place, Trayland Leiwani. Seventh place, Jason Loop. And eighth place, Osman Romero. So congratulations to all of those on that final table.
Congrats. Good scores. Ranging
yeah, you gotta love these Friday nights. Yeah. I can't stay up that late, but man, it's nice. If I lived closer. So on Saturday, there were 170 entries to their new. So they've lowered the entry on Saturday and turned it into a $130 buy-in. Yep, $130 buy-in with a 10K guarantee. And that is partially, but not totally, in response to the bike has announced that after the series, they're going to be doing weekend daily tournaments. So they'll be having Saturday and Sunday tournaments with 20K guarantees at the bike. But this one,
Yeah,
yep.
and the big thing about the dailies is actually a big free roll that ends up in March. Um, and playing all those dailies is going to get you into there, so make sure you look out for the details on that.
Oh, okay. Have they put that on their website yet? The bike announced that yet? We'll
I
we'll
don't know if
take a
there's
look.
details on the website. So the interesting thing, the free roll is actually on the poster at the bike, but I feel like it's kind of on the bottom where the focus of the poster is about the free rolls. I'm sorry about the dailies, but the free roll is on the bottom, but yeah, it's there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check that out. And it's that's kind of an interest. It's sort of exciting news because it's been a long time. In fact, since I've moved here, I haven't known the bike to have daily, weekly tournaments. So
Yeah.
this is somewhat big news that they're bringing it back, and I love hearing this because that sort of kind of indicates that they're willing to keep committing and keep doing more things for tournament poker there. So that's a great thing to hear. There was no picture 7-way chop in that Saturday event. The Sunday event had 254 entries. These bounty events, these bounty events where you get bounties as you go, I'm starting to warm up to them after seeing what happens at the Gardens, because I swear every single bounty that gets pulled before Regen goes right back into the prize pool. So that is great, because look at this, 254 entries on that one compared to the 170 for the event before, right? So that is a 9-way chop. No picture there either. So whoever mystery winners were for those two events, congratulations. We'll get back to this. The Gardens has announced a special set of tournaments for Thanksgiving weekend. We'll get back to that in a moment, though. Let's get some more results. The Wednesday bounty, because we're going late, we can announce the Wednesday bounty. That had 250 entries for a $25,000 prize pool. That's crazy for a random Wednesday tournament. Congratulations, the top 5 players chop with Moshe Levy winning top prize, 4,500 and bounties. And if these are all the bounties he won, that's pretty impressive. I think I counted like 20 bounties here, 25 bounties almost. That's way to go. Love it. That's the only way to win a bounty tournament. And then more info, which we'll be back to on the Black Friday. And I think there was, the Thursday event here. The $130 buy-in had 217 entries for $221,700 prize pool. This is nuts for weekdays. Super props. I wish I lived close to the Gardens. These dailies are insane. In fact, Derek, I hear you're right nipping on the heels of our number 1 on our Player of the Year board now, nipping at the heels of Aaron Zhang. And I hear it sounds like a big part of it is he just is addicted to tournaments at the Gardens now. He's just always at the Gardens and only playing their dailies, missing out on the MSPT events that we're doing for trophies, that we're doing as Player of the Year points. He's just down there grinding them hard because he just loves it so much.
He's just showing off. He's going to try to beat me by not actually participating.
I mean, that's how you could have won the Tice Becker bet this summer, right? Just don't play.
Yeah.
All right.
Just don't play.
So here in this event, the final 6 players ended up chopping. They did not have a winner's photo. I guess, let's see. Adam Martell got 7th, though. He's someone on Kevin's stream team from his WPT Global, no, is a Club WPT stream team. So congrats there. And Kent McLaren, he also cashed this event, 12th. Nice guy. I played with him once over there. Oh, and John Miner got 21st for cashing. All right. Woo! Those are all the results that I have for this week. However, there's one more sort of result that I would like to shout out. So we have another event going on in Vegas. Last year this time, we were very excited to play clips and to cheer on local legend Sammy Beshahead, who went on to win the MSPT main event. Right now, we are, I think, just wrapping up day 3 of that main event, and Sammy finds himself well in the mix. He has cashed. This isn't his current stack. This was from, I think, 2 hours ago. But the last time we got an update, he had 100 big blinds around the bubble. So, and look at this. He's got a little champ thing here. So Sammy is still in the hunt to defend his title. We're rooting for you. We can't wait to see it. But, man, it's a tough field. Got Danny Sepiel here. You got Rampage got himself some chips. We got Bin Wang has been near the top of the board the entire time I've been watching. Jessica Vierling in there with a lot of chips now. She was the winner of our last Commerce Circuit main, so it's going to be a tough road, but Sammy's got this. I think he can repeat. This is going to be amazing if he gets a repeat.
Ben Wang is in here. Darren Rabinowitz, sick field.
I know, right?
Will be.
Of course, of course. Now, what I like is that I hope that draws them all away from our MSPT main. However, they're still going to have Saturday to drive down if they bust out on day 4. So hopefully they are
Yeah.
just too lazy to do so, though. That'd be nice.
Yeah. We don't need this field to be tougher than it's gonna already be.
Uh huh. So those are the results from the week. Now, I kind of cruised past the events that you played in, but let's take a moment to give some major props to Mr. Derek, man. So, Derek, last week you said you were going to win the mini Mega Millions, and I said
Yeah.
kind of jokingly, "Well, I'm just not even gonna play. You've got this. You're gonna win." Um, you came really freaking close to doing
Yeah.
so.
I almost pulled it off. I
Yeah,
almost did it.
Derek was the chip leader all the way into some portion of day 2, like part of the way into day 2, right? So Derek crushed it day 1, ended day 1 as the chip leader. Um, this is the 2 restart and the money. Oh, so when you got to the money, you were the chip leader, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and this is all from Derek's. If you want to see more kind of live-ish updates, Derek's Instagram, he posted some stories about it as he went. So he, well, I mean, how did this event go for you? I didn't even go to the bike this weekend. So why don't you give us a little recap and then
Yeah.
tell us your secrets, man? What the heck happened this week and these past 2 weeks? I mean, this series has been great for you. You got that chop right off the bat. You're in the money here. We made that run in the 500K, and then you final tabled this mini mega. What's going on, man? What happened?
Yeah, so the mini mega was interesting. My first day one qualify, I don't think anything really happened. I ended up with like a little bit under 200K, it was like 190 something. And I only played another day two because I had taken a week off. Like basically I qualified on the Sunday before and I was like, well, I don't want to go into the day two like super rusty, so let me just fire one bullet at another, day one to see what happens. And it ran pretty well. Ended up, finishing a day with like 350K or something. So I wasn't a day one chip leader. I was like, somewhere kind of in the middle.
Gotcha. So you
And
got to
then it was
go
my
into day 2 though, like up a grand already.
yeah, right, exactly. Because well, no, actually I fired 3 bullets total, I think. Um, so I was up a little bit, but wasn't a full grand. Um, so on day two, I feel like, it was, first I had the table of death. When I first showed up on day two, it was me, Salzburg, Cord Garcia, and Andrew Ostapchenko, which is like one of the most ridiculous like day twos, for like a
Yeah,
like one of the quantums
I mean,
that you could
Andrew was
possibly
playing all the
find.
high rollers this summer, and he won
Right.
the something 8 up at Ocean, not Oceans, up in San Francisco for Mega this year. So yeah, super
Yeah.
tough table.
And like Cord and so it was like basically me and then Andrew to my left, Cord two to his left, and then Salzburg after that. So it was like this like death row behind me, but like Cord and Matt played some crazy like super high level hands together. It was actually like pretty fun table to watch if it didn't suck, having to actually sit there and play there. But I was actually able to get my stack up to like 700K before our table broke, and then I was just sort of like floating around and nothing was happening, nothing was happening. Then all of a sudden I don't want to call it like a sun run, but it was like people were kind of like punting on me. It was like pretty crazy. And
Oh
usually I don't get
man,
people like punting like big stacks to me, but um this player Ray he was the chip leader at the time, and I came in there with like a pretty big stack of chips myself, and then I basically just like value towned him on like a river, after I had like bet the flop with ace king and an ace had hit or a king had hit, and then check turn, and I just sort of value bet the river like maybe like 300 400K, and he called. Um, and he was very upset about that hand. Like he was just like tilting his face off from that hand. And
wait,
then a
was it
couple of
Cal or
opens.
was it a different chip leader at the time?
No, this was some guy I
Different chip
didn't
leader.
know.
Okay.
He was the chip leader at the table. I don't know if he was like chip
Did he
leader at
know
the
you?
at the.
Did he watch the show?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was gonna see because I'm wondering if anybody would play different against you now that they know you can, know you can talk, know that you they, because
Yeah,
everybody.
I always like wonder like how many people actually do. Like sometimes some random people will just like say hi to me. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you knew me, and then I always makes me wonder like who actually knows like my style of playing stuff. Because you can get also a lot of stuff from my vlogs too, right? Um, So then, he was probably still sitting like 30 to 40 BBs deep at the time, and like halfway through day two, that's still a pretty substantial amount of chips. And I raised Ace King in the cutoff, and then folded to him in the big blind. And the thing is, it's like when I raised, I was like, this guy's gonna ship. I just almost like sensed it happening, and then he basically piled his chips in there, and I was like, all right, I call. It was I mean, I snap called, but I was like, man, this I feel like something bad's gonna happen because it's such like a huge pot. And he ended up chipping with King 8 suited. And he actually flopped the gutter, and I was like, here we go. But then I ended up, like holding up and winning a huge pot there. Then I moved to the next table, and I'm carrying this big stack now. Now I'm just like sort of accumulating chips. And then this absolutely crazy hand happened where I had raised under the gun with aces. This pretty good player. I've only played with him a couple of times, and he's just somebody like I don't know who he is, and I've never like kind of seen him before this series. But he actually is like a very tough player. He called in the small blind, and we were both the two table chip leaders. I was probably closer to chip lead at the time, and he was, I want to say it was probably like 60 or 70 bigs, and I want to say that he was probably like 50-ish bigs. We were pretty deep. Um, he calls out the small blind, big blind folds. The flop came king six, like four or something with two hearts.
Sorry, what did
He
you have,
checks.
or is this mystery?
I had aces.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
Sorry.
he checks. I bet, whatever was like 30% pot, and he raises me, and he raised something like 4x, and I was like, well, um, I'm not going anywhere, but I did think for a minute about chipping because this player, as a function of being tough, kind of, check raises a little bit light sometimes. He'll, maybe take like a king 10, king 7, king 8 even type of hand and just like check raise there, right? So knowing that he can do that in his range plus some flush draws, I was like, well, I can probably just pile it in here and maybe just blow him off the hand before, something funny kind of happens on the turn. But then I decided just a flat. The turn comes some blank card. It was like a deuce or three of spades, and then he just ships. Like he literally just ships like his entire stack in there. And this is like a huge shove. It was like a 3-4x pot shove. Um, I basically snap called because I was like, well, there's kings in the range, draws in the range.
Yep.
I'm never gonna fold aces here, so no sense like
Yep.
tanking. He had pocket sixes. So I was smashed in his absolutely huge pot. I was about
Yep.
to lose, like a huge chunk of my stack, and then bam, like an ace hit on the river,
Ace from space.
and my God, like the entire table just got. I mean, it was just like everyone just got up and like yelled, and people from the other tables were looking. And the thing is, obviously like an ace hitting on the river after that is, like kind of like ooh, tough hand. But it was the size of the pot that was the reason why everyone was like
Yeah.
screaming. Because basically this thing put me up to like 3.8 mil in chips or something at the time, which was kind of ridiculous, right? And then during that hand, the player next to me told me that he had folded an ace. So I actually hit the case ace on the river to win this like absolutely humongous pot.
So how did that pre-flop go again?
I've raised under the gun. He
Uh-huh.
called in a small blind.
Okay, yeah. So you raised
Yeah.
undergun. He called in the small blind, and then he just suddenly decides to like just go massive all in. That's wild.
Well, it was check raise flop.
Yeah, times four,
And
times
and
four, and
yeah,
then just jam was the jam over pot. I mean, that's huge.
and that well the turn he just so I called the raise, after his check raise,
Yeah.
and then on the turn he basically just shoved,
Was
just
that
shoved all
was
his
that more
chips in.
than pot? Was that
Oh yeah, it was like three x pot
3x pot?
probably.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
so wild. Only in LA, man. Only in LA. That's so crazy. Or either that, or he just knew, 100% knew you had aces.
I think I see this from a lot of players. It's like the pot's big enough. I feel like I'm not going to love any river. There's like straight draws, there's flush draws, there's bigger cards that could turn another set. Maybe you already have it. So I think people just kind of get in that mindset and just
Yeah.
like just shove it in there.
Yep.
But anyways,
So after that
absolutely
hand, you
human.
are the undisputed chip leader of the tournament, right?
Yeah. So, interestingly, I thought I was like dominatingly ahead, but then, it ended up that, there were a couple of people up around there, 3.5, 3.6, and I lost, kind of like 300K at the, like, on the last orbit there, to Payman, I think is his name, or Pyman.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. In a hand where he actually ended up rivering a straight when I had rivered two pair. And the way he kind of played the hand, I was like, I don't know what 10 combos you have here. It's really strange. He ended up having pocket 10, so I guess that was a 10 combo I didn't think about, which
Mm.
actually made sense. So I was a little bit annoyed that I kind of paid off there, but I ended up the night with like 4.1 mil. It wasn't that big of a chip lead. And then on day three, my God, it was one of the worst days of poker I've had in a long time. Um,
But you still
Super
made it to
card
the final
dead.
table. I mean,
Yeah, it was super card dead, but it was like getting second best handed constantly. It was just like, and then there were so many hands where I just folded where I could just tell I was like getting second best handed. There was a hand where this player had raised, I've three bet him with aces. He called, the flop came like king, 10, king. I just didn't feel good about the hand. So he checked. I ended up checking. The turn was a queen. He checked, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check again. I don't care. I'll just bet small on the river. Then the river was some blank card, like a nine or eight or something, and he led small, and I called. He actually flopped a boat with tens. But even like a hand where I just lost a little bit there, it just felt like the entire day was like that, where I was just like fencing my way. And sometimes that's okay. Like your big stack, you don't have to go around just bullying everybody. Sometimes on a day that kind of goes like that, the big stack will actually just get you to a final table,
Yeah.
right? You just have to sort of maintain and sort of just not like lose chips.
No, absolutely. I think
Um,
it's really important to be able to recognize some days the big stack you get to bully, and some days the big stack you might as well just like get a sandwich, sit back, watch a show, and just wait.
yeah. Yeah, but it was exhausting because I feel like I could not take my attention off of any hand for even 1 second because it just felt like every hand, like something bad was happening. So it was really, really exhausting when you have a
Yeah.
day like that where it kind of spins up so many of your mental cycles. Um, so kind of towards the end, I was able to win a couple of pots. I would lose a couple of pots, win a couple of pots. I never really got over like 4.8 up until like the final 18. It was crazy. I just like kind of hung around between like 3.5 to like 4.5 to 4.8 all the way through. Um, then kind of towards the end, I was able to get to like 5-6 mil. We get to the final table, and I was actually able to get to like 9 mil. And then this is when that crazy last hand happened. We just got to the final table. Somebody had just busted. Now we had 9 people left at the official final table. This player raised in the cutoff. I had ace king offsuit, and I'm like, I'm not gonna play around here, so I just shoved. I had like maybe 21 bigs. Folds back around to him. He tanked for about 30 seconds, and I was like, yeah, I guess this guy's probably gonna call me with like eights or sevens. He ended up calling with ace queen suited.
Yeah.
Um, I think GTO probably says it's fine, but I think kind of in that moment. I probably he should have found a fold, but it was close. I think it was pretty close. He ended up calling it off, and basically flopped the queen and ended up busting from the tournament, which is really annoying because it feels so hard to like basically fight through a day like that to then get bad beat at the final table. But then obviously I ran super well on day two to even get there. So
Yeah.
I'm happy about the finish, but
Yeah.
it was definitely an enjoyable tournament. A
Yeah.
lot of tough players, good competition.
For sure. And I'm gonna look up the final table in a second here, but quick going through the chat. We got Aaron's in the chat, blowing up the chat. I was not kidding. He loves the Gardens. He's calling the Mini Mega the worst tournament in the world, probably because he thought you were gonna get points for it. But I let him know you get no points for that. And he's saying stop playing bike tournaments. Come play the MSPT, man. Let's get the MSPT back here. But yeah, he's all in. He's all in on the Gardens now. He can't wait for the Black Friday weekend. And then we also have Sammy in the chat. He says he had 1 million at 350K average, and then he kind of lost focus and ended up blowing up. So he needs like we got that book for free at the World Series this year. The
Oh yeah.
A Game Poker. You might want to look into that. I don't know. That might be one, or maybe Sammy. There's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of players out there where it's like you don't really need, or rather, you'll get more benefit from these mental coach guys than you would from a poker coach in the short term, right? That kind of thing. So I don't know. Just based on what you're saying, might be something you want to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so much of poker, it's like obviously the technical aspects you have to work on the technical aspects to play good poker. It's not necessarily even GTO, but just being able to understand kind of bet sizing and stuff like that, right? Super duper important. But yeah, the mental game is so much. Like I could have probably busted from that day three 20 different times, right? But it was just like intense focus and just fencing and playing defensive and understanding when I need to play defensive, not losing my shit when I would just lose some really annoying pot, right?
Yeah. Like you said, that
That's
chip
basically
leader went on tilt, jammed King 8 on you
yeah,
or something, right?
right.
Yeah. I mean, you have
Monday
40 big
Monday
blinds.
Monday
Don't
stack
don't go on
was
tilt.
unnecessary, right? Right. So yeah, like the only reason I made the final table was just because of like kind of mental endurance. And it was exhausting. It was freaking exhausting, and
And
I
the ace
was
from
like super
space,
pissed.
but
Yeah, and obviously
both
makes a
of them.
space,
Yeah, yeah,
makes some space.
yeah.
But it was, but yeah, the mental part of
Yep.
it is so important.
And we got Scala chiming in and Julie in chat. Hi guys, welcome, welcome. Julie's giving you the congrats. So, yep. Yeah, so maybe we should try and find someone to chat on that one of these episodes. It could be a good episode. We'll put that in our
Yeah,
back pocket there because I think it benefit everyone. I think that Derek, you and I feel like for the most part we have pretty strong mental game as far as playing somewhat solidly throughout. Now, for me, it's more like in the day twos and the bigger tournaments. I'll admit my day one mental games are often not that great, but it's kind of like, especially if there's another day one coming up, I kind of just like don't. It's not that I don't care, but I'm much more relaxed, right? Like that kind of thing, which is
yeah.
not great for your bankroll. But hey, I'm a recreational player. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely still tilt all the time, but even when I tilt, I try to like basically try not to drop down to like a C game or something, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes it's actually best if you just start feeling yourself tilting. You're probably better off missing a couple of hands or even an orbit and then sitting there and playing,
for
switching
sure.
to walk. Uh,
Absolutely. So I have pulled up the bike feed. I was able to find the final table, your final table. So let me bring that up. So it was a very good final table. We had Alti in there. Alti,
yeah,
congrats,
yeah.
Alti. I believe she got would she get eighth or was it seventh?
Oh, she's seventh, I think,
She
maybe.
got seventh. So way to go, Alti, in that final table. Yep. Fausto, as we said, got second. Ernie Trujillo, he got. I don't remember. Do you remember what order people busted after you, or did you immediately leave the area?
I think Ernie might have busted fourth.
Okay, we're
He was
thinking.
actually the guy who busted me with the ace queen.
Gotcha. So we think Ernie got fourth. There's Derek. Derek, where's your roundup stuff, man? You're wearing a plain white shirt, almost a plain gray hat. Like, what the heck, man? Where's the fit? This is
It
unacceptable.
was the bike has been kind of crazy. I feel like I'm not sure they're up their AC this week, but it was like always like freezing or like really hot. It was like one of the two
Yeah.
things.
No,
There
I
was no
feel
in
you.
between.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm keep that in mind. I'm come back to that in a second. Derek Gregory, he got the third. He chopped for third. He was a chip leader after things started shaking out. When you went card dead on day four, he
He
started seizing control, or was it day three? He started
he
seizing control.
he. Yeah, I was at the table when he was just like freaking piling chips.
Yep.
Yeah, he was definitely like sun running.
Uh,
But yeah, obviously he's still a really good
yep.
player. But he's yeah.
Garen Babapkin, he was also the final table. Rocco Lati and Edward Koyumjian and Corey Brass was the winner.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, Rocco actually was somebody who was on my day three. He was most of my day three table, man. This dude just got so short and he stayed just like with a short stack all the way through until he laddered and finished, whatever he did, like
nice,
fourth or fifth. It was nuts.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is the way you do it when you're not running like crazy. When you're not having
Yeah.
amazing luck. That is what you got to do. It's amazing. And then Daryl Robinson, he was the chopping for a third, I believe. So, or no,
Yeah.
he wasn't. That was our
Oh,
guy. So this guy
no.
must have finished like fifth, I guess, just by process of elimination, something around there. So wherever he finished,
Yeah.
congratulations, Daryl. Final table there. All right.
Yeah, definitely tough field. Kudos to, even though I was, saying I was like fencing and getting second best handed, had to give kudos to the players at my table for definitely keeping me, keeping like a foot on my neck. That was making it really hard to play all day.
Yep. So, that wasn't the end for you though. You busted this tournament, came back, you played probably until like dinner time or so. And then I thought we were going to do our show yesterday. Thought we were going to do the show on Wednesday. But Derek says, "No. I need more I didn't get the trophy. I have to go back and try and get myself a trophy. I'm going back for the MSPT."
Yeah.
So he goes back for the MSPT. And the next thing I know, it's Frank and it's Derek at the final table telling me how many points they're getting in the player of the year. I'm falling way behind here. This chump here has to go to work. Like, what the heck? You guys are just piling it on. And you get third. According to Frank's calculations, you are now in second place in the player of the year. Like I said, luckily for you, Aaron is just 100% all in on the Gardens. So you just
Yeah.
limiting his points. I'm sure he'll be at the circuit, but limiting his point potential. So you are, you complained so much when I said we were going to track these points. You're like, there's no way I can play enough to get in there. I can't grind enough to get these. And then the next thing we know, you're chopping every event for like top 3 points here. So tell us about the MSPT. What is the MSPT like? Was the structure good? Was the event different? This was another event And I don't know, was it? Do you think it was because it was an MSPT event? This was another event that was just stacked. There wasn't even a guarantee on it,
Yeah.
and that day one had all of the big LA like grinder names in there. Like I think, like what like is Jared and Matt and Beth and everyone like was in
Yeah.
there. I feel like
Yeah.
that day one.
Jared, Beth, it was Rudy was in there. Mike Ung was in there. Cord Garcia was in there. It was me. I mean, it was definitely like super, super stacked field. Um, yeah, it was really funny too because when I showed up, Kevin was there, covering the final
Oh yeah,
table as
Kevin's
he's
in the
like
chat
a
now too. So
yeah,
congratulations, Kevin. You made a really deep run as well. So way to go.
yeah, yeah. And Kevin was just like, I can't believe you're here right now because he obviously watched the Ace King, Ace Queen hand to bust the night before. Um, but yeah, so it was MSPT. Was a pretty well structured tournament. I want to actually go back and shout out the mini mega because down to the final two or three tables, the average stack was around 30 to 40 bigs. It was like pretty deep for like quantum. Sometimes get a little bit sketchy towards the end,
Yeah.
but this one was really really well
I
structured, and I
I
think the
want to
final
say
table
again,
was really
the
good.
quantums. I hate everything about them up until day two. But if those were just the day ones for real, they're such a great example of you can start with fewer big blinds and have a well structured tournament.
Right, right.
But
That's true.
anyways, like they're
That is
just
true.
like a real case study. Like
Well, I
the
mean, I think
average.
to be fair, they do all of the rollbacks and stuff too to kind of make it.
No, but the average big blinds, like it's still the average, right? The average number of big blinds per players in day two is still like 70 or
Yeah,
66 when you start the day. That's the
yeah,
average stack. Some stacks are like 200 big blinds, right? But the average in a regular tournament, everyone starts with 200 big blinds. Average stack in this day two, which is the
true.
day one of a quantum, is like
70,
yeah,
70.
60 to 70 big blinds, and it's a well-structured tournament. You can do that.
It
Like
is.
people, if there's one thing that I like about quantums is that if I can convince people and show them, like, look, you don't need 50,000 chips at the start of the tournament. You play this tournament all the time, and it's good, you know.
Yeah,
But anyways,
yeah.
I digress. All right, sorry. You were saying about
Everybody's
the
giving a shout out
MSPT.
to Wild
Sorry.
Gill in the chat too. So
Oh,
by the way, yeah, Rob Gill was also in this tournament, just unbelievable. I guess it was because it was an MSPT. Because number one, yeah, there was no guarantee. There's actually no MSPT trophy either. We're just getting like bike trophies for it,
what?
not an
Oh, geez,
MSPT.
I'm so sad. Really?
Yeah, I was shocked because I was like, I mean, what makes an MSPT tournament? I guess
Yeah,
we're not getting an
exactly.
MSPT trophy. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
honestly, if I
but
knew that, I might not have included it on the player of the year. I was only including them because I thought you got the
yeah,
are they spade? What do they call their spade trophies? Just MSPT trophies or whatever. But
yeah,
the little spade with the glasses. I thought you got that for winning this. What the heck?
yeah.
So
I
there's
don't
only
know,
one
and
for the
like
main.
I hope they're giving one for the main. Um, and even like yesterday, I think the MSPT guys just got there yesterday. There wasn't even like MSPT stuff up on the walls, so
Hmm.
it felt really I don't know. Anyways,
Interesting.
but there's some at least like posters and stuff up now.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it must have been the MSPT brand somehow that drew all these players. The day went kind of okay for me. I don't think anything like super good or super bad was happening. I was just kind of like floating along, floating along. When I got down to like the final two or three tables, I was actually like pretty short stacked. I was able to sort of like fence my way to the final table. I don't recall anything crazy good or crazy bad happening. Lost a couple of hands where I was way ahead, probably won a couple of hands where I was, flipping or whatever, maybe even a couple where I was behind. But then the final table came, and I was still very, very short. Ended up busting. I think her name was something Brant. I forget her name, but I busted her with sixes against. I jammed sixes. She called
Oh,
king queen. I
she
had her.
she final tabled the Commerce
Yeah, maybe Catherine.
the
Is that her
Hold'em
name?
series main.
Yeah. So I busted her. I barely had her covered with 6-6 against her king queen when she called off my jam. It was like maybe like 12 or 13 bigs or whatever it was. And then from there I was able to kind of chip up and chip up. I busted Nancy in a pretty rough way, where she had raised the button. I had three
Oh, you
bet.
busted Nancy, you jerk.
Yeah, I
Also,
three
you
bet.
got lucky with ace five versus ace queen. Ugh.
Oh yeah, so I three bet. Oh yeah, actually, so let me cover that first because this hand happened after the ace five ace queen hand.
Yeah,
So while I was short, I jammed ace five suited. I got called by ace queen, and I was like, well, I'm out of here because this guy had me covered by
I
like three
always
x or
call, but
something.
I always say chop when this happens. All right.
So basically, it came like three clubs, and I was like, I think I almost instantaneously said, just chop it up. And then the turn was a club, and then
Oh
I used the
wow,
club,
it wasn't even the
and
two pair board; it was a full flush.
It was just a full flush board. Like not neither of us had a club, so
Yeah.
I ended up just chopping there,
All
which
right,
was like
guys.
super
Look,
lucky.
I thought we were gonna get some good tournament strategy insight from Derek tonight, but never mind. Look,
That's
all
fun.
you do to win these things in final table is you get the one outer ace from space when you're all in against a set for the massive chip
Exactly.
lead, and then you
Yeah.
just chop when you're ace five versus ace queen. Just this is how you do it. This is it. This
Yeah.
is the secret to poker. And then
Yeah. Magic. Corey
freaking
Garcia.
and you freaking knock out really nice peoples like
Yeah.
Nancy and whoever else you heard on the way. Ugh,
Yeah,
this
and
is
Corey
it.
Garcia
That's
was
it.
actually kind
Episode's
of like
over.
joking with Corey was joking me at the final table. The two of us are gonna end up like heads up in the tournament, even though we were both like actually a little bit on the shorter side, and I sort of laughed at him. But then we ended up he ended up shoving like 16 to 17 bigs from like under the gun. And then I think he had me covered by just a little bit, and I had jacks, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going anywhere. So I ended up calling, and I joked with him, well, I think the prophecy is not going to come true for one of us. I don't know which one, because we're about to get like super short. So that was actually the big pot that kind of propelled me from up into like a medium size to big size stack. My jacks held up. He got really short, and he ended up busting like a couple of hands later, and then from there I just went like on a really good run. I don't think anything like super good or super bad was happening. I was able to apply a bunch of pressure in a bunch of different spots. I was able to value bet. I think the person who ended up finishing fourth after I had raised with 9-8 of hearts, and then turned a flush on an ace. I ended up checking the turn, which I knew was gonna probably basically if there was a flush draw on the flop, and then I bet, and then when the turn came and it was also an ace and I don't bet, this makes it seem like I don't have an ace or a flush. So then on the river, I let out for about, like I think it was like 100K when he had like maybe 160 or 170 left, and I bet that size on purpose because usually, I'm trying to get people to kind of call because they can still stay alive. He ended up calling that off. So that was a pretty good pot for me. But then, now to that Nancy hand, Nancy had raised on the button, and I had her covered at this point because I was able to build up a really big stack. I three bet her with the king ten of clubs in the small blind. Felt like that was pretty simple. Well, yeah, I guess you can call that sometimes three bet it sometimes. So I basically three bet it there. It ended up shipping. I didn't love it, but it's probably enough like pairs in there, and then like hands cards that were just around, like an ace jack, ace queen that didn't kind of intersect with the king ten. So I ended up calling, and she had ace ten, so she had me absolutely smashed. Flop came two clubs when I had the king ten of clubs, and she just said, "Oh no," and I was like, "Oh no." And then the turn was a club, and then of the busting Nancy, and I, again, sorry, she played absolutely lights out from all the way through. She was at my table, I feel like the entire tournament. And I thought she played super well, so it
Yeah.
kind of sucks for her to go out that way.
Yeah, clubs were your friend this tournament. No,
It
Nancy's
was.
super solid and super nice. Love playing with her. I believe she got what, like second in the World Series ladies event, or like top, very high finish in the ladies event some number of years
Yeah,
ago at the World Series.
yeah,
So yeah. Well, congrats, man. You're getting some more congrats in the chat. Mark has joined us. We got some Jeremy jumping to your defense from us teasing you. Come on, Jeremy. You know how the teasing goes. Let's go, Hambone. You can take it.
yeah.
Let's go.
I also want to give a shout out, to the player who won, who was the player of the week.
Arturian,
I
or I
kept
can't say his name.
Yeah, Arturian. Yeah,
Arturian,
I
yeah.
kept saying like with the sunglasses, I didn't recognize him. Not sure if I played with him. I thought it was this other player, but actually I hadn't really played with him that much. And he's an impressive player, man. Like he's tough. I'm gonna say when you see that player of the week show up at your table, be ready because this guy. Yeah, I'm not gonna give too much about kind of like my reads on him or anything, but like he's a pretty tough player.
Yeah, so if you see Hambone at the Gardens, be afraid. If you see Arturian over at the bike, or
Yeah.
Derek, be wary. Let's go. Yeah, so congrats, man. It's a great week. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about what's in the future and what's in the present. And I'm gonna try and one up you. So you said last week you're gonna win the Mega Millions, Mini Mega. I think that I am going
You're
to
calling your
win.
shot.
I'm gonna
You're
win
calling your shot.
this. I'm winning this. I only get to play one MSPT. I've played one other MSPT event in my life. This will be the second. I'm probably gonna get to play like barely one a year. So I'm gonna win this one because there's, I'm just not gonna get another chance. This is mine, and everyone should come down because check it out. You said the MSPT folks showed up today, or showed up for the
No, it was
main.
like, I think it was yesterday
Yeah,
they
so they've
finally
come and they've
came
come
in.
with full coverage. So if you don't know this, look, not only I'm sure Kevin's still doing coverage, but here at the MSPTpoker.com, they have their own coverage people. They are tracking, the chip counts from people live-ish. They have a really awesome photographer. These photographs are great. I'm gonna have to make sure I look good before I leave the house tomorrow and go down there to play because these are great pictures. Look at these things. These are fantastic. They're doing coverage like this is World Series. Like this is like they don't have a stage set up, but this is like World Series coverage, just like at the Commerce from before. So this is fantastic, and this is the kind of stuff I really love to see. Trying to getting more of our players, our LA Blasters out there, getting the coverage out there, getting our events shown. I love to see it, and I can't wait. It's a normal 1100. A normal 1K at the bike. This is fantastic. Cannot wait.
Yeah, awesome
Can't wait to
coverage.
battle tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'll be there tomorrow too. Yeah, this is it's
Oh,
gonna
look,
be I think it's gonna be pretty stacked fields all the way through. So
Jeremy
yeah, it's
Smith
looking good.
says he'll get a great photo of you. Jeremy, are you the photographer for the MSPT? And if you
What's
are,
up, Jeremy?
way to go. Like I said, these are great photos.
Yeah,
Typically, nothing against Kevin, but he's just using his phone, same as our field reporter is. And our field reporter is really great because he knows everybody and he gets everybody's best attitude. But these candids you're getting are fantastic. A lot of the candids you see at our local tournaments are kind of it's like you couldn't have taken two candids. It's like he's looking down. You got the side of his ear, but these are really great. So if these are your photos, Jeremy, kudos. Thanks for coming. And thanks for checking out the show. For everybody in the chat and everybody watching who has not hit like and subscribe, please do. Please do. And yeah, Jeremy, try and get my good side tomorrow. I'm going to come. Man, if you're there, maybe I'll wear a collar shirt. I don't know. I'm gonna have to. We'll definitely wear the Roundup hat. We'll figure it out. We got to get something nice.
yeah.
And I know if you're there, Derek's gonna wear his hoodie because he's still trying to sell more hoodies. Guys, go to our website. We've got merch. Get yourself a hoodie. Derek, did you wear the lucky hoodie at any of your found tables? Are you crazy? Do you not know how to market?
I had the gray hoodie for the mini mega,
Okay, all right,
and I actually had that baby blue LA Blasters one for the
all right,
MSPT one,
excellent.
which is interesting because that one's never really been good luck at all. So maybe that needs to get into
I'm
the
not gonna
rotation.
lie. I love the term, but like a shirt with literal guns on it for poker. I mean, especially since I don't know if they're kind of ray guns, aren't they? Or are they real guns? I don't know. It didn't quite seem right. It didn't seem like what I was looking for there. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, we can redesign. We can redesign.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think POW was actually asking me, about the hoodie, so maybe he's gonna buy one. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So guys, the MSPT main event's going on right now. We'll cover the whole schedule soon because we are going to be going over all the events because we're about not quite. We're going to get to the roundup in a second. So let's quick talk about the other announcement that it should have been breaking news. We should have gotten the scoop on this, and we did, but we didn't do a show on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We didn't do a show on Tuesday, so I scrolled through this when I was going through the results with Kevin, but the Black Friday tournaments over at the Gardens. Now, last year, Commerce did kind of a follow-up series over the Thanksgiving weekend, but they don't have a tournament director. So Kevin has jumped on it, thankfully, and they are going to be doing some really cool one-days. So what they're going to be doing over there is they're going to be having on Black Friday a 100K guaranteed no limit hold'em deep stack for $500 buy-in, which normally you'd be like, okay, 100K, that seems about right. The bike was doing $400 buy-in, 150Ks, but it was a Saturday. It wasn't a holiday. But you know what's nice about Gardens tournaments? They have the best rake in town, and we say this every time. Look at this.
Yeah.
$500 tournament with only $60 in rake. I mean, that is amazing. That is amazing. We have what is this one? They're doing their 250s, 250 for 50. That's standard, but they're $500 buy-in tournaments with $60 in rake. It's so good that you got Rob Gill. We got Wild Gill here is it Rob the Rock? It's either Wild Gill, Rob the Rock. He's approving. He loves the structures. He loves the rake. It's fantastic. You can't beat this. Even the circuit coming to town, the rake is higher. Rake is higher, much higher percentage. The bike we've been looking at all time. The rake is much higher. So if rake's a thing, and this is why Aaron is in the chat shouting, "Go play at the Gardens, go play at the Gardens," because
He's really boycotting every quantum. It seems like
as a true LA grinder, as someone who really grind, and we've said this before, look, if you take shots and you just play a couple times and you just want to win the biggest prize, the rake doesn't matter that much. The guarantee is what you care about, the total size of the tournament. If you play a lot, if you're going to play all the dailies, if you're going to play a lot, what you care about is the rake. So if you're going to play something every weekend and there's anything even comparable, you really appreciate the low rake. That being said, the Commerce has very good rake as well, especially because a lot of their structures are buy-in plus add-on, where almost like 95% of the add-on goes to the prize pool. But these are things that people who play over and over again need to pay attention to. Now, Rob does not want to become the chainsaw of LA, but by saying so, I think he's become the chainsaw of LA, because whenever a new tournament structure or tournament is announced, the first person to comment and complain about the rake and about the structure is Rob. So Rob, this is LA Chainsaw approved Black Friday tournaments, and Mr. Patessa, he likes to pour over the structures, and there are things to skip, and we talk about this all the time. There's a trade-off. Anything, if the tournament's less than a 500 buy-in or less than a 600 buy-in, you're gonna have to trade some things off, especially if it's a one day. But if we want good rake and it's less than a $500 or $600 buy-in, that's not enough money to run a multi-day, super awesome structured huge tournament, right? It's just not. So either the casino needs to subsidize it by getting it somewhere else, go to the cash pits, go this, that, or not. And that's, I don't know. It just hurts us that we can't have slot machines in our casinos, I guess, because there's just no super high margin things for these casinos to use, for our local casinos to use to make up the tournament. So kudos to the Gardens for being able to keep offering low rake.
Yeah. It is unbelievable rake down there, and obviously, it's so interesting that the place with the lowest rake is the place that also gets like such high scores on all our polls, right? About like what's the best place to play, and the super comfortable place to play, good food, good staff.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah, and it's no wonder. It's no wonder Aaron is falling in love with the place. Like I said, if I lived south of LA, I would play 80% of my time at the Gardens for sure. The other events they're going to have on Black Friday weekend is the afternoon event that day will be a 30K guarantee Monster Stack Turbo. On Saturday, they're going to have another 100K guarantee tournament. This will be a Deep Stack Mystery Bounty. And then on Sunday, they will be holding a 50K guarantee Super Bounty. That's a $360 buy-in. So the 100K buy-ins are both $500 buy-in, but the 50K guarantee Super Bounty on Sunday will be a $360 buy-in. And then on Monday, they're going to be doing a Cyber Monday special, a 10K guarantee 130. So that is the special series happening down at the Gardens on Black Friday
trophies
weekend.
For all them.
Trophies for all
them.
Nice. He didn't say trophies, did he? I'm not sure. Knowing Cabin, I'm guessing a lot of them will be. But for our Player of the Year, the only ones that will count will be the kind of the primary three events there: the No Limit Hold'em Deeps, the 200K guarantees, and the 50K guarantee will be the only ones that count for our Player of the Year.
Right.
So, Aaron, those will be your best shot to get some points and catch back up to Derek, because he runs like crap at the Gardens, and you're getting used to the player pool there.
Yeah. The Gardens is a black hole for me. Although I enjoy playing there. I enjoy saying hi to Cabin and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do run shit there.
Now, I, on the other hand, I tend to run great in all of their 500K or higher guarantees. So the lower ones, it's kind of 50. Yeah, kind of 50-50.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating. Yeah. The other thing that's kind of to note is the circuit will start at the Commerce on November 13th. So that's going to start right after MSPT wraps up. And the structures are finally out. Now, I've heard on Twitter that some of the structures were a little not complete. I haven't had a chance to look at all of them, but if you look at like Kev Mather's Twitter, he retweeted. Oh, actually, it was Mr. Was it Danny Geyser, the guy, our local mixed game friend there. He pointed out that some of the structures were missing some things, didn't have things listed. Like for instance, they're doing that kind of bike trick where they have this Omaha event here, and it says, hey, here's the Omaha event, and they don't list day 2 on here. And then here on the structure, you'll see there's an end of day 1, and it's logical to think day 2 is just the next day, but it's not on the schedule. You probably have to. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Here, right here. Okay, so it's right here in the fine print. Day 2 will resume November 18th at 12 p.m., but that's not on the schedule, so you have to really pour over. But the structures are available here on the World Series site. I haven't checked the Commerce site. Honestly, I feel like the Commerce site is updating slower than the World Series site. We recommended before you come here because they show the guarantees. So yeah, so here they are. They're all up. So looking forward to it. The landmark satellites are as we expected. They do have 30-minute levels though.
Yeah, they're kind of weird that they're opening. Oh, because it's a 4 p.m. is the main. The mini main. So they're basically running 2 tournaments on the opening day, but I guess it's okay because
Yeah, so it looks like on the opening day they aren't thinking, since it's they only have 1 flight for the mini main on that first day.
Yeah.
And they just assume Wednesday afternoon they won't get that many people, so they're going to start it later in the day, and then Thursdays they think the people maybe they will start
Well, on
coming.
Wednesday they have an opening
Yeah,
event.
they have a 1-day event. Yeah.
On 11 a.m. So I thought it was interesting to run that alongside the main, but I suppose it's like a stagger.
Yeah, Reg is over by then, and people are busting. So.
Yeah.
Yep. But then it's all flight,
yeah.
and then we're in.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be ring chasing. Gonna do some midweek.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and as we were talking before, so my background's gonna start looking probably worse soon, and it's gonna get a little busy for me. I am actually moving soon. I'm probably gonna be moving in. I'm probably moving in a month and a half, so I've got a lot of packing and work to do. So, ooh. All right. So that is pretty much it for this week. I think we're about ready for the roundup. Let's see, we missed anything in the chat? Let's see. No, it's really cool to Jeremy in our chat. Welcome. One more plug. Please hit like and subscribe, everyone. Let's get to the roundup. All right. So we've already kind of talked about it, but Legends of Poker, it's MSPT week. Oop, I passed it. Here we go. Wait a sec. Is this the wrong freaking year? Why? No, I'm sorry, not Legends. Big Poker October. It's MSPT week. Right now, the main event is going on. That is the thing. If a 1K is in your price range and is in your bankroll, that is what you should be playing. This MSPT this weekend is the event. Great structure. Should end late Sunday night. It's an MSPT event. It's well covered. It's really great. Alongside these day ones, though, I don't know why, at 5 p.m. at the bike, they'll be running some super stacks. So on Friday at 5 p.m., they'll be running 25K super stack. So this one makes more sense. On Sunday, alongside the day 2 of the MSPT, they will be running a 50K guarantee. 11:10, yes, Sunday's 50K guarantee. So that is a decent one, $300 buy-in. So that is not an MSPT event, but apparently even these MSPT events, these first 2 aren't MSPT trophies. So not sure what's going on there, but it's just a regular bike event, but still gonna have a nice guarantee to buy-in ratio.
Yeah, and also for the people who can't afford it, you can also see here, if you're not looking on the screen, plenty of opportunities to get in from satellites. At the 250 range, they have some super fun flip and goes that you can get in there with. So definitely go out there and fire, because it's going to be an incredible tournament this weekend.
Yep, they're running $250 satellites the entire time that they will still be a flight open for you to enter, and that means that they should be giving away a seat every 5 players, and they're guaranteeing seats for a lot of these. So if it might be too late to get in some of the early ones, but I found at the bike the earlier in the week nighttime satellites tend to overlay if they have a decent if they have a decent number of guaranteed seats. So just saying. All right.
Yeah, I think the Megasat yesterday was super thin. It was actually crazy. It was only like 2 people registered, and then I look up, and all of a sudden there was like 12 people there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many ended up.
That's still not enough though. They need I think they need 15 to hit. So still not quite enough. All right. So let's head over to Lucky Lady. Lucky Lady, this is the weekend they're gonna have their 20K Big Boss tournament. they are going to have a 20K, which is twice as much as their typical guarantee, and that will be on Saturday. So that's during the final day one of the MSPT Main. So once again, if you don't want to play satellites and this is a little out of your price range, not a bad option. 20K guarantee over here. And then also their new Big O tournaments on Saturdays at 11 a.m. And then the rest of the weekend, they're normal 10K on Sunday and the like. Going over to Hollywood Park. This weekend at Hollywood Park, they have a Chargers game on Sunday, so there will be no morning tournaments. They will still have their evening tournament, the 5K guarantee. And then the other tournaments this weekend look like their typical week fare. So they're typical, and I don't mean week like not strong. I mean the weekly tournament, daily fare. So they're doing their 8K guarantee on Friday. It's a bounty event, and 10K bankroll builder on Saturday. So those are normal. And then I don't believe there's any reason to believe that the Commerce is doing different than their regular dailies. I did see, I should have it queued up, but I don't. They our local LA, well, they're all local, I guess. Our Commerce Poker Pro, Rudy, cashed in one of the free buy-ins for a daily over there and was playing the one of the weekly events there. See, now I can't tell which one to play over at the Commerce, and he was doing a little interview over there, talking about getting hyped up for the circuit. So, all right. I believe that's all of the places around town. The Gardens will be having its regulars because it's far off from there. So I'm sure if anybody busts from the MSPT Main tomorrow, they'll be heading right over to the Gardens for the Friday night event. And then their Saturday and Sunday events are happening as usual. Okay. That is all I've got for you, Derek.
Yeah, this was obviously, so as we said, the big one this weekend is going to be the MSPT at the bike. If you get out there, that's the one to play. Definitely fire the satellites, fire the flip and goes. It's going to be an awesome tournament.
Yep, absolutely. We will see you all there. I hope to see everyone there, and I love seeing the coverage. I love seeing all of the local players getting their shine, and I can't wait to see what happens and who gets second and third after I win this thing.
Yeah, everyone hear that? It's just don't expect to get anything other than second or third.
If I can hit my one outer for the chip lead, I'm feeling really good. That's all I'm saying. I had chip leads some of the other tournaments. I didn't make it, but I didn't hit a one outer. If I can hit that one outer, I feel like that's what I've been missing. Important. That's what I've been missing. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. It's been fun. We will see you at the tables this weekend.